Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back, it's Jordan here. It's backlog day. Today in this video, we're going to be taking a look at and placing all of these sets. Some of these were provided by LEGO early to reveal and review, so thank you so much for that. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start this overview with the Harry Potter Chomping Monster Book of Monsters. Quite the title. 518 pieces, and this one here retails for 80 Canadian dollars. Look at this thing, it is awesome. I love all the pieces used to create the hair and detail of the Chomping Monster Book of Monsters. I love the print elements too, the Monster Book of Monsters, the title there. Those are print elements, so I was happy to see that there was no sticker element. We do get one minifigure. It's Neville Longbottom, and he does come with a miniature version of the Book of Monsters, quite the cover on the book, but there is a tile within, and that tile does not have any print detailing, which sort of surprised me because typically the tiles found within books do have print detailing. While constructing this, I thought that the book was going to be a little bit larger than this, but it is a decent size. Of course, they're not going to give us a life-size version of this, although that would be really cool. It would just ramp up the piece count and therefore price quite a bit. Just in general, it looks fantastic, and one of the last things that you do is actually construct the mechanism that allows it to chomp and move back and forth. That was a pretty cool mechanism to build and install. It's just like a pullback vehicle, which is so cool. When you pull it back like that, it's gonna go rah, 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 and just chomp away, right? That is cool. That is so much fun, and there's actually a way to change that. So if we open up the Book of Monsters like this here and tilt this backward, you can see the interior there, pretty colorful. But if you put that mechanism backward, now it's just going to like go really fast right into my laptop. Nice. I do have the smaller version of the Monster Book of Monsters. This was actually a gift with purchase. Came with a Draco Malfoy minifigure. Pretty cool. It doesn't have that like automatic mechanism inside though. You've got to like do it by hand. So I think this is such a cool upgrade. Next up we have Buckbeak, which retails for 80 Canadian dollars, comes with 723 pieces and no minifigures, which I guess sort of makes sense when you're working in this scale. But the Book of Monsters came with a minifigure. But what minifigure would you include with this? Like a Hagrid, a Harry, a Draco? I don't know. I don't think it needed a minifigure. We've got a little setting right here, which of course represents the pumpkin patch just outside of Hagrid's hut. Comes with the brick-built bird. We've got some interesting like stonework there and also some pumpkins. And then we have Buckbeak, which looks pretty awesome. His hind legs or feet, I'm not a huge fan of the way those were constructed, just with some brackets and some like rounded elements there. I think they look a little bit too small, especially when you compare them to the front feet of Buckbeak. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But beyond that, I think the overall construction of it was really nice. I like the wings and the way they can articulate and also rotate, and the way the head can move on the ball joint as well, along with the legs, the feet, and the tail. The wings have a really good range of motion. They can rotate, and they're on those ratchet connectors, so they can flap, of course, and they hinge like that there. So they have quite a bit of movement there. I think it's a good display piece that's going to display really well with all of the other LEGO Harry Potter sets in our collection. Our Harry Potter shelf is looking pretty full. We've got Buckbeak up top here. Some of the other construction style figures. And then the Book of Monsters got buried way down here. Might have to make some space because there's other display style sets that I want to add. That being like the new Threstrals set. But I don't know. At this point, it's looking pretty crowded. This set here is pretty interesting. It is the Batman construction figure and Batpod bikes. You get both in there. 713 pieces, retailing for 85 CAD. And it looks pretty cool. I like the Batpod. It's the Batpod, right? Comes out of the tumbler. This thing is epic. Construction figures aren't my favorite thing in the world, but this one is actually pretty cool. I like the fabric cape that he has. Looks pretty fresh, and the way that he can just be positioned onto the bike which is pretty tricky to do, so I don't really want to take mine off because he just looks so fresh on there right now. But he's positioned onto the bike with the big rubber tires. It's got some stud shooters on the side there and all sorts of guns on the front. The bike is pretty detailed. You can actually attach the figure's feet to the spots on the back there. There's some jumpers on there. Huge rubber tires, like similar to the ones that you would find on the Tumbler sets. And the elements on his chest, these ones here, and also his face, are printed. So that's pretty cool. 85 Canadian, probably a little bit expensive for this set. Lego prices have been increasing over the years. As we all know, Lego is just getting more expensive along with everything in the world. But overall, I thought this was a pretty cool set. I liked the construction of the bike. There are some sticker details on there, which I don't think needed to be printed. They did release this shortly after releasing just the construction figure on its own, which was sort of strange because everybody that picked up the construction figure was like, oh, well, now they gave us a bat pod, and in order to get the bat pod, I've got to buy another construction figure, which I don't really need. Granted, the construction figures do have some differences within the actual construction of them, like on the chest, and they also feature different print pieces, but why did they need to give us this one and then be like, bam, we're going to give you this one as well? Now, in regards to the pricing of a lot of this stuff, you can actually find it for a discount at like Target or sometimes at Walmart, Amazon, sometimes through Lego itself or just like random toy sales. And that's where I managed to find a bunch of these. I managed to get like 15, 20, 25% off. I saw this one on for a pretty good price and was like, well, we better get it because it's the Bat Pod and it's gonna look great with all of our other DC collectibles. One thing I will say about this set is that it's super long because it needs to accommodate that really tall figure. One thing they should do is release a minifig scale tumbler. Not that they haven't given us enough of those already, but a minifig scale tumbler that comes with the Bat Pod or can be converted into the Bat Pod. But I think if they released one that had both the tumbler and the Bat Pod in the same set, that would be super cool. Because the Bat Pod is so long, we decided to give it its very own shelf above Arkham Asylum and these three awesome vehicles, all on its own. There we go. Looks like we've got some more space for some more DC sets. This is Iron Man's Laboratory Hall of Armor. It retails for a whopping 70 Canadian dollars, comes with 384 pieces. And all these minifigures here, you get Pepper Potts, Aldridge Killian, which has some pretty cool print detailing, but I think it could have been done a little bit better. This is the Iron Man Mark 6, also Iron Man Mark 43, and my favorite minifigure from the lot is definitely the Iron Patriot Mark 1. And you get dummy and also the Igor buildable like mech style figure there. Of course, you've got a position here where you can suit up a suit of armor here. It's got like the little robotic arms on either side and the computer screen there. And then we have the Hall of Armor right here, which has those trans light blue windows in the back. It's got the different suits identified using the sticker elements. And this is modular style, so you can create more of these and connect them all together and even stack them as well, just like our other Iron Man Halls of Armor, which I have found quite a few of in the past on sale. I would always look for these on sale because they come stacked with minifigures and it's good to get them 20 or 25% off or whatever it may be. This is a pretty cool addition here as well. You can, scan a suit of armor, right? I believe it's pretty cool because you got two different sticker elements that sort of overlap and it creates a pretty cool effect there when one passes over the other. Overall, pretty stacked minifigure lineup. Not too bad. I love that War Machine. Look for this one on sale if you want to add these to your Hall of Armor. The Igor has a printed head element there, which is just a 2x2 curved slope. Everything else is stickers. I think the feet on the Igor look pretty shrimpy. It looks like pretty lame, don't you think? Like, Igor is so cool. Look at that. I think Lego could do better on this particular design. So here's my Iron Man Hall of Armor. I don't know why Lego keeps like changing the design of the Halls of Armor. This is the original design here. This was the second design, which I think was an upgrade. I think it looks better with these like garage door elements on the side. I know, I've got random minifigures in here, don't worry about that. They sort of go with the collection. But then they changed it again. They just like made it a black plate on the bottom. But these ones are somewhat compatible with the previous. Well, of course they link together, but they're not the same. So I don't know why they wouldn't just come up with a design and make it consistent, but I guess you can just buy additional parts to create your Hall of Armor and make it all consistent if you so choose. There's the two different Igors, because of course that's the second rendition. So that's the first one, that's the second one. And then we've got our Iron Man Hall of Armor, looking pretty stacked at this point, pretty happy with that. It's definitely nowhere near the complete collection of Iron Man minifigures though. Ah yes, Revenge of the Sith. I would say one of the best Star Wars movies ever, eh? Maybe the second best in my opinion. Empire might edge it a little bit. What's your opinion on that? But this Brickhead 5-pack is pretty cool. We've got Mace Windu, comes with that awesome 2x3 printed tile. Gotta love that. Yes, also Padme Amidala. She's got another cool printed tile, which is a 2x4. She actually has a little bit of an Easter egg inside her belly there, which represents her being pregnant with twins, which is pretty cool as well. There's also Anakin Skywalker here. You can turn him into Darth Vader by swapping up his eyes. Yes, so that's pretty sweet. I don't know, would you have him with the red eyes or the black eyes? Also has that printed tile there. Nothing too special about the Palpatine, or yeah, Emperor Palpatine. His cloak or hood is pretty cool, the way that was constructed with the curved slopes, but no like unique print elements other than the eyes in that one there. And then we have General Grievous, which comes with 4 lightsabers, 2 blue, 2 green, and also the 2x2 curved slope for his mouth. He's got the trans green elements in the center to like represent the capsule for like his heart. There's also like a red element in there to represent his heart. So yeah, that one's really cool. I like that Brickhead. A pretty slick 5-pack of Brickheads. Also, we've got another one here today, which is the Luke Skywalker Rebel Pilot. This one's awesome. Look at the 2x4 curved slope on his head there. And also just the representation of his Red 5 helmet and the printed detail on his chest as well with that 2x2 tile. Gotta love the Brickheads. Just a great collection that we're definitely going to continue collecting for a long time because we've got a pretty awesome display built for them. And just in general, they're just great things to collect because they come with unique print elements, etc. We've got quite a bit of space here on our Brickhead display, so it's pretty nice adding new ones, because specifically the Star Wars one is actually quite empty, like half empty. So there we go. We've got 6 new Brickheads on display and looking pretty cool. Right on. I would love to go to Italy one day, but for now we're just going to stick with the Lego postcard. How does that sound? There you go. We got the Italy postcard. I have been collecting all of these. We put them above our world map. I think they look really cool. They've got the tiled background and then just different representations of the country, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Just the representation of Italy's architecture. Beautiful. Comes with the Italy sticker piece, so that is a sticker element. And you can also switch it up to Italia. Just fun little sets. I know you should probably only get these if you've been to that place. It'd be fun to like travel around the world and pick up these postcard sets in Lego stores in that country, but it is what it is. I think they look cool, and we may as well continue collecting the collection if we have the rest. Or at least I think we have them all. I don't think any slipped by us, did they? I hope not. Either way, this is going to be super satisfying. Please line up with the end of it. Oh, not quite. Oh no, they're not centered. Or did we measure correctly? Oh, we did. Look at that. It's meant to be. They're actually held in place by command strips. So we'll command strip that one in there. And you know what? If there are more that are going to come out in the future, we can also do a row of those along the bottom of the world map. Cool. I don't think I'll ever say anything bad about the continuation of the upscaled minifigure lineup. This is the racing driver minifigure with that Octan branding printed elements there. So you've got one of those 1x6x5 panels with like the zipper and the Octan colors and also the checkered flags. And then we also have the Octan 2x4 printed element there and the face element. Just like all the other upscaled minifigures, this thing can pose like an actual minifigure. So his legs can articulate back and forth, same with the arms and the hands, and also the head can, of course, rotate. And it has a hidden Easter egg. This guy here is always thinking about engines. So inside his head, where you'd expect to find a brain, you find an engine. So I think that's just such a cool Easter egg. It's pretty easy to expose that by just popping the top of the head off as well. My question is when are we going to get the upscaled astronaut minifigure? That would be so cool. We got the baby astronaut. We need the astronaut, probably just like a classic blue one. Or they could even give us different characters like Darth Vader or Stormtrooper or Iron Man. Pretty much anything. But there we go. I've got all 3 of the upscaled minifigures. Actually, all 4 now. It's pretty cool. This one here is a minifigure tribute, which is a set that is exclusive to the Lego house. So it's pretty cool to have that one. The next set in the ongoing Speed Champion lineup is a pretty cool one. This is the Too Fast, Too Furious Honda S2000. Has 300 pieces retailing for 35 Canadian dollars. Comes with some pretty interesting printed elements, which surprised me. This graphic on the side here, which is a 1x6 tile, and also a 2x4 curved slope, and it's mirrored on the other side. Check out that windscreen or windshield. Pretty cool convertible piece there. Also, these headlights are printed, and the 2 cheese slopes behind the seats. And there's an interesting 1x1 tile within the interior as well. I love the part usage for the seats with the gaming controllers. There's some other interesting parts in there, such as the pen and the microphone element for the shifter. All the other details that you see there are sticker elements, so there's still a large amount of stickers in the set, but I'm happy to see that there was some interesting print elements. You can see the flashy rims there. They can be swapped out with these rims. So that's pretty cool. Some interesting rim elements, and just overall the construction of the vehicle was a ton of fun. I actually put it together with my daughter. There's even some representation of like the underglow there with the transparent elements. So it's definitely pretty flashy. Comes with the Suki minifigure as well, which is a pretty interesting minifigure with some nice print detailing on the torso and legs. And she also has an alternate face. Although that set should probably be placed alongside the other Fast and the Furious Speed Champions. At this point, it's just going to go right down here alongside the others in the collection, just because taking apart that cabinet would take a while to do. It's just right here. I've honestly been thinking about parting with some of my older Speed Champions, specifically the 6-wide ones, just because there has become so many of them. Thinking about it, that would probably be like all of those ones there. I don't know though. It's pretty cool having pretty much the full collection. Although there are some holes, specifically the F1 cars. I don't have all those, and then there's some older ones as well. But yeah, there you go. New Speed Champion placed. Next up, we have the 101 Dalmatians puppy, but you can build more than just one. You can't build 101, but you can build a bunch of different varieties of the puppy, which is a lot of fun. Right now we have it in the playful position, but you can also change it into a sitting position. I thought this one was pretty fun. I thought it was pretty cool, right? Look at it. It's so cute. Tongue hanging out, just looking so playful, and it's got the spots, of course. One black ear right now, one white ear, but you can actually change that up when you have a look in the first few pages of the instruction manual here. You can see all the different varieties that you can build. So for example, we've got Patch. That's what ours currently is. Then there's Penny. So white ear with spots, or white ears with spots. Then we have 2 black ears. That's Lucky. Then Freckles. There's Rolly, Pepper, and that's it. And each animal or each different variety comes with their own little collar. So you can change up the collar. You can also change up the color from red to blue. And there's an additional element right here which you use when you put it into the seated position. And all of these additional elements can fit into the back of the dog. So there's a little bit of a storage spot right there. You can't fit all the additional pieces because to make the switches between the dogs, there are a ton of additional pieces which won't fit in the back there. But you can just keep those in a bag off to the side or just work them into your inventory and change it up however you want. So it's pretty easy to switch it into the sitting position. The first thing you need to do is dismantle your dog like so. And then you remove a small module from what used to be the front legs and attach them to the hind leg position. And then take what used to be the back legs and attach them as the front legs like so. And then put the head back on in a different, more upright position by feeding the Technic axles into the axle bricks, and then fill in the back of the head with that additional element that we took out of the back of the dog, like so. And then stow away your additional pieces that you removed from the legs in the back of the dog, along with the spare collars and different name tags there. So yeah, it's pretty easy to do, pretty easy to switch up, and that is just super cool. There we have Patch beside Simba. Very similar, but obviously this one here has had some significant upgrades with that like versatility of display option. I prefer Patch in this position, although when they're side by side, it sort of leaves like this big gap on the shelf there. I don't know. I sort of want to display them side by side because they're so similar, but it's like big Patch above Patch. I don't like it. It's really not the right time of year to be reviewing a Poinsetta, but here is the Lego Poinsetta with 608 pieces, a brilliant build. It retails for $65 here in Canada. We actually found ours, I think 30 or maybe even 35% off on Amazon. I was like, it's not the right time of year for this set, but we may as well grab it because it's such a smoking deal. And the build did not disappoint. Some really good part usage here. The octagonal studs not on top building technique to create the pot was magnificent. All the Technic elements found within like the stems of the plant, and then the parts to create the flowers. Really cool. Like look at those ninja star elements right there. Ninja stars and flowers. Who would have thought, right? The botanical lineup is just really cool, all the different part usage that they use. And I like the colors of the Poinsetta, the dark green and the dark red, along with the red and bright light yellow. It really pops. We recently relocated our entire botanical collection, so adding the Poinsetta could not have been more perfectly timed. Even though it's not the right time of year, I still think it looks great here with all of the other botanicals. It actually looks like there's some pretty large gaps on this shelf right now. So we could probably move some of these shelves around to free up some space to add an additional shelf. So I've had this set for quite a long time, and it's taken me a while to build it. I don't regret building it though, because now we have 3 awesome vehicles for the Lego City. It's a bit of a weird set though. It's a helicopter fire engine and submarine mix. Overall, I think the vehicles look really good. Like look at that fire truck. It's pretty sweet. It looks clean. I like the pops of color that it has. I think it's going to be great for the city. This set retails for $80, so it might be a little bit on the expensive side. It does come with a nice firefighter as well. I love that axe element. Such a cool, like, dual molded axe element. Really neat. Also, we get the helicopter. Sort of what you see is what you get here. You can remove this windscreen, so you can pop a minifigure in there, of course, and of course you could pop a minifigure inside the fire truck as well. But there's not really any interior details within the body of these vessels, just because they are remixable, which is sort of strange. I like this underwater vehicle here, or submarine. Look good in the deep sea area whenever we get around to developing that, so it's pretty cool. But they're remixable in the sense that we can actually remove this, we can remove this, and we can split all of these vehicles into 3 different chunks. So we can break them apart like that, and we can remix them because all of these different pieces are compatible with one another, which is really weird if you ask me. I get it's fun for the kids. I really don't need this play feature at all, but this is a 7+ set. So would a 7-year-old have fun with this? Absolutely they would. So I get it, absolutely. I think it's cool. And even as just a Lego city builder, I think it's cool for me as well, because once again, you get 3 vehicles that can be integrated into the sky, ground, and also underground or underwater. So pretty versatile in that sense. We also get a scuba diver. There he is right there, the dark orange, or that like really cool orange torso. I don't even know what color that is. It's not dark orange. It's not orange. It's a nice looking orange. And then we also get a firefighter, and all 3 minifigures come with alternate head decorations. So we've got a couple pieces of hair there, actually 3 pieces of hair for the different characters there. Yeah, it's sort of weird, right? It's sort of weird, like look at this mess I'm creating. Sort of strange, who would have thought, right? Yeah, sort of weird, but once again, they'll look good in the Lego City. A new submarine in the underwater area that's had no love, and then way over here, a new helicopter flying above the police station. And right below, the fire truck. This $100 space set is actually pretty cool. It is the Galactic Spaceship, and it's modular. It comes with 4 minifigures, also an alien, and a buildable robot. And look at these meteorites. They're like those boulder elements, but they've got some trans blue worked into them. Super cool. And the interesting thing about this modular spaceship is you can build a large spaceship like that there. You can also build like a base, which of course would be like landed on Mars or a planet of your choosing. And you can build a smaller spaceship using the front section. All of these different sections can split apart, which is definitely pretty unique. All we have to do is just remove these elements there. There's also some 2x2s on the bottom. And once we remove those, we can pop it apart. There's just Technic pins holding it all together. We can also remove these wings just by unclipping them like so. And we can remove the back thrusters as well. It should all go smoothly. Now we have like this space base that we can actually cap off with these additional elements right here. There's some Technic pins on the back, so we can just put them in like that. Notice the nice decorations there, the 2x2 printed tiles with the new-ish logo. Sometimes things don't go as smoothly as you hope. There you go. But yeah, we can pop this large dish off the top to gain access to the interior. There's that print piece that I was referring to. And there's some pretty cool interior details in our space base. Like pizza, right there. Everybody needs pizza in space. It's like an oven and just sort of all sorts of cool stuff within. And now we have this here, which can be converted into a spaceship by grabbing our thrusters off the back here, and also our wings, which can be clipped onto those modified 1x2 bricks with like the bars within, so they adapt to those clip elements like that there. And we can also remove this to reveal some interior details. You can position some minifigures in there, remove the windscreen as well. So it's super modular. Everything sort of comes apart and can be played with and altered, which I think is a ton of fun for any space fan, and specifically for kids. I think kids would have an absolute hoot with this set here. Am I going to be building some sort of like space diorama in the future? No, probably not. But if I was, this definitely would be a great set to help with that, because you have like a base or a spaceship, and if you take it all apart, a big mess too. There you go. It is the Galactic Spaceship. But yeah, just in general, a really cool concept. You probably noticed all sorts of sticker detail all over this thing as well. Like, it's just something different that is space, and I think certain age demographics would have a ton of fun with this. And even I'm having a ton of fun with it, which is always good. But you can see there's even more removable elements, like we can remove these crates off the side, and you can stow away some of the additional little detail pieces in there and stuff. So it's definitely a really cool play set. I like that. It's good. For now, I decided to place that ship above Benny's spaceship, the Galaxy Explorer, and beside the Blacktron Renegade. Just sort of makes sense there, doesn't it? The Scrapyard retails for $100 and it comes with 871 pieces. We've got 4 minifigures, nothing over the top here, just your standard Lego City minifigs. You got like a high-vis vest, some grease stains on their jackets there because they're working in a scrapyard. Their legs are pretty plain. We do get this adorable baby shepherd, or yeah, German shepherd. And I like this little Easter egg right there. You can see there's like a vicious German shepherd sign. I guess maybe that's its offspring, or it's just a funny Easter egg because you get a little baby dog and there's a vicious sign there. That's got the Octan gas right beside it. And then we have the main entrance here to the scrapyard. I love this printed element right there that has like the jaws clamping onto it. And there's the dog bowl right below. You can see some yellow Technic pins coming off that lift arm. That's where we can actually put some spare rims. And then we can put the tires on this pole right here. We've got this crane which can rotate. It also is connected to these ratchet connectors and it can extend out so the boom can come out and you can grab a car on top of the lift, and you can also position one of the 2 vehicles or both vehicles on this lift if you so choose, so they can drive up the ramp like so. And we can position the other vehicle, which is a pretty fancy looking sports car. I wouldn't want to see this go through the scrapper. Same with this one here. I don't want to see these get scrapped, but that's the main point of this set. I love this one. It looks pretty sweet. Look at the engine in the back there. Looks like a fancy old school classic sports car. You gotta love that. It's gonna look pretty fresh driving around the Lego City. Not too bad. So this is fully modular. We can take these components apart just like so. We've got the lift, the big crane with the shop, and the scrapper that actually had a set of tools or a wall of tools on the side, chromed out tools, looking pretty cool there. I loaded up the scrapper with a car that I would never want to see scrapped, but either way, here goes nothing. We can close up the lid, so that's pretty cool, pretty satisfying. You see how that just came together there? Really nice. I also, actually no, I didn't load up anything into that. We're actually just going to scrap that car, and it's going to come flying out here. Oh no, there's the car. So definitely a fun play feature right here beside the chocolate pudding. I swear that's German Shepherd chocolate pudding on the side there. We can load our scrapped car in, and then we can press this button on the back, and when we press that button, it's actually going to move the car forward within, so it's being pushed toward the scrapper, and out comes the scrap. So definitely a fun play feature, very clever. I think that is awesome. Looks like those scrappers decided not to scrap these vehicles, and look at that, the German Shepherd's going for a ride in the owner's lap. Proud owners of the new vehicles, just ripping around the Lego City. Storytelling at its finest. Am I going to place this scrapyard in my Lego City? I really don't know. At this point, I don't think there probably is space, but do I want to allocate space to a scrapyard? I don't know. There is a way that we could open up more space in the Lego City, and that's by building my expansion tables. So I decided to put this set down here for now. Ooh, am I going to build the expansion tables? It's still a mystery at this point. I still haven't decided, but I have been locating spare lumber that I have here in the studio and also in my garage. And it turns out I do have enough lumber on hand to build the expansion tables. I don't even have to buy anything. It's just a matter of assembling it. So it's a tough decision to make, that's for sure. But I have been given that concept a lot of thought. I read a lot of feedback, which is found in the comment section of the video where I proposed those expansion changes. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. Look at that. We placed a tremendous amount of sets, and they're looking pretty fantastic here in the Lego shelving rooms. Still got a lot of sets that we need to build and integrate here into the displays, but I feel like that was a pretty big chunk of them, which was pretty awesome. Everybody, hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Have yourselves a great day. Bye for now.